Hello, this video is meant to be a welcome, course tour of cit251, Internet Security 2, or as I'm calling it, InfoSec 2, as just a little quick way to refer to it. Welcome to InfoSec 2. We'll be learning about information security, particularly controls, which we did a little bit last semester in 251, if you had me, but we'll be getting into controls. We're going to talk about secure network design as well, and maintenance, and then we're going to have audits, which doesn't sound too exciting, but that also includes penetration testing and vulnerability assessment, and then incident response, which doesn't sound that exciting. And believe me, living through it, it's not. But we'll be learning a little bit about forensics, which can be exciting. So. All right, so that's what our goal for this semester is. We can get more detailed in the syllabus, looking at student learning objectives. So this is the video that we're making, and know this, above all else, from this video, and actually this is a good summary of this entire video, know this, that we will have two due dates. We have a midterm due date, which is March 10th. That's when all the assessments from Lesson 1, all the assessments from Lesson 2, all the practices from Lesson 1, all the practices from Lesson 2, Exam 1, Project 1 are all going to be due on March 10th. Our second due date, because our first due date is March 10th, our second due date is going to be the final due date, which is May 14th. May the 4th be with you, plus 10. That's going to be everyone else. So all the assessments, and there'll be plenty of them, practices, there'll be plenty of them, exams, 2 of them, and projects 2 and 3, exams 2 and 3, projects 2 and 3, will all be due on May the 14th. All right. One more time, March 10th. May 14th. Okay, everything from 1 and 2 at Project 1 and Exam 1 is going to be due March 10th. That's the midterm due date, and everything else will be due May 14th. Okay, let's get on to the the frequently asked questions. When is everything due? Well, glad you asked. Again, everything from Lessons 1 and 2, Exam 1 and Project 1 are going to be due 3/10, March 10th. May 14th will be the final due date, where everything else, all the assessments and practices from Lessons 3 and 4, Exams 2 and 3, and Projects 2 and 3 will also all be due. How does grading work? So here's the thumbnail guide of how grading works. We have 3 scores. Your knowledge score is going to be worth 34 points. So it's essentially a score 1 through 100 multiplied by 0.34. Application, which is going to be worth 33% or 33 points of your grade, and practice, which is worth 33 points or 33% of your grade. Knowledge is calculated by averaging exam 1, 2, and 3 together. I'm just going to take the exams of the average of exams 1, 2, and 3. Application is calculated by averaging projects 1, 2, and 3 together. So again, we're just going to take those projects, average them all together, and that would be your application score worth 33 points. Get your projects done. Practice is going to be calculated by, and this is incorrect, I got to fix this. Practice is going to be, it's more accurate in the syllabus. So practice is going to be calculated by averaging all your assessments, comparing it with the knowledge score, taking the higher of those 2 scores, and then averaging them together with your practice. So you got your practice scores, those become averaged, and then we're either going to take the average of your assessments or the average of your or the knowledge score, whatever's higher of those 2, combine it with the practice score and get the average of those 2, and that'll be your practice, which is 33 points. That's spelled out more accurately in the syllabus. I got to update this fact. What is your attendance policy? So let me just first off the bat talk about what is attendance. Attendance is logging in the Blackboard is part of your attendance. Okay, attending the course. In other words, putting some kind of attention to the course. Okay, so if I do not see you log into Blackboard for 3 weeks, if I do not hear from you, if I don't see you, then for 3 weeks, then I reserve the right to drop the student from the course. How can you get in contact with me? Best way is my email. All right. I do have my office hours listed. I do have my class times listed. Do not walk in the middle of one of my classes as I'm teaching, because those people actually bothered to show up and they're trying to learn something. So, but you can stop, come between my courses, or come into my office and talk to me in my office hours. If you do not want to meet in the office, you want to meet somewhere else, let me know. Send me an email, and I will get there. I do have my phone number, but my phone is not the best way to get a hold of me. But I do have my phone number listed in the syllabus and my contact information. Okay, joke time. It's bad when you have to explain it. What is the airspeed velocity of unladen swallow? What do you mean African or European swallow? That's a Monty Python reference. And question, well, we don't know the question, but we know the answer is 42. Douglas Adams reference. Okay. Let's look at the syllabus. Let's go right to the syllabus. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the PDF. It's formatted better because this is a bear to format. I cannot explain why these dots are up here. I'd have to recreate the whole document from scratch. I'm not going to do that. So here's the actual document formatted in the way I intended it to be formatted. So let's just go over it real quick. Again, here are my office hours, and my schedule is going to be all the way in the bottom, by the way. If you go all the way to the bottom, here's my official schedule. There it is, professor schedule. Here's my phone number. That's my office phone number, so I have to be in my office. Voicemails, I'm really bad at checking my voicemails. Not nearly as good as checking my emails, all right? There we go. Okay, so the course description, again, these are the actual student learning outcomes. I summarized them a little bit quicker when I went just to the FAQ. Let's talk about requisite assets and recommended assets. A requisite asset you need to have. So you got to have a laptop. Hopefully that's what you're viewing this on now, but maybe it's a tablet, whatever. Point is, you got to have a laptop. We're going to run some simulation software. We're going to run virtual machines where we need a laptop to do that. Okay. Need access to blackboard.com. That's probably how you clicked on this link, although it's technically on a YouTube server, but that's how you clicked on the link, so good. The internet in general, okay, I'm pretty sure you got that. And attendance, again, this is my warning. If I don't hear from you for 3 weeks, then I'm going to drop you. Recommended. In other words, you don't need this to take the course. We'll talk about that in 2 seconds. Recommended asset. This is the main book I use for reference throughout the course. I'm going to use other books for reference as well, but I put this one in here. So let me give you an example of what it's going to look like. So let's go on lessons. And we'll go to lesson 1, administrative controls. All right. So here's topic 1 in lesson 1, administrative controls. We have our summary. Okay. This is just what we're going to be talking about. Here's our terminology. Okay. So these are all the definitions you need to know. Okay. Here are my sources. This is what I'm referring to. So in this case, I got a Cengage book below that I'm referencing to. This one is the one that I have as the recommended asset. And here's a web page. Okay. What happened was some of these definitions, particularly the policies, I'm guessing, I did not agree with, and instead I got them from SANS, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving security. Well, all right. So let me close that and give ourselves some more real estate there. Then I have my concepts. These are the concepts we need to understand, right? And I'm going to talk about that in my slides. My slides here. This is going to be where I have my slides for my presentation. The presentation is going to be beneath that. It's going to be down here. I don't have it showing right now because it's not done. I'll let you know when it is done. I'll put it out there, and I'll make an announcement for it. And that'll be like this, a desktop online presentation. I'll try to have some prettier drawings to go along with it as well. Interesting things to watch. Practice, that is a lab. In this one, we're going to look at some other... we're going to download a policy from SANS. We're going to talk about... we're going to look at the sticks, particularly acceptable use policies, if I remember correctly. So we're going to be looking at that in this practice. Practice, lab, practice. You can use them kind of interchangeably. I prefer the term practice. It's a long story. All right. And then we have assessment. Assessment is just going to be a quick little quiz. As it says, open source quiz. Change the font on me. So I'm going to hit begin. It's going to have a couple things. It's going to have matching questions, so role-based awareness training, right? And then we're going to that's the word, and then these are the definitions down here. I really don't have questions and conduct are considered normal in another organization. Trying to figure out which one this is. This is probably not a good idea in the middle of specialized training that's customized to the role specifically employees hold in the organization. Uh-oh. Okay, good. So I would put A, right? There I go. So I also have normal questions. A contract between a vendor and a client specifies which services will not or will be service level agreement. There you go, SLA. So the point is, you take the quiz like that. You can check your notes as you go through. This is meant as reinforcement, okay? And you can see every single definition is on here, right? The whole point of this is to learn, basic definitions, understandings, not really to go through conceptual understanding. Whoops. I don't want to do that. What I wanted to do was, now it's stuck. That's funny. All right. So I'm going to cancel here. All right. Excuse me, I'm choking a little. All right. So that's what a topic looks like. Again, summary, terminology, sources, concepts, slides. You'll see the presentation below this. Practice 1.1, assessment 1.1. Excuse me. So those are the main components of a lesson. All right, let's go back to the syllabus. That's why this book's not necessary. You don't really need this book to take this course. If you want to get it, great. I picked Packet Publishing because they're relatively inexpensive and they're up to date. They're not the best. They're not the best well organized, but they're good. They're cheap, and they're all pretty relevant, all pretty new, right? Especially in the field of security. You can have the perfectly written security book, but it's from 2012. It's way out of date, okay? Expectations, again, we're going to students high-level academic integrity. If you're working with another student in the course, please, you can feel free to work with them. You can point them in the right direction to an answer by asking another question, but don't give them another answer. Don't share work. Don't just change just enough so the professor won't notice, right? If you work together on a project, that's fine. Just don't give each other answers. Don't copy and paste answers, okay? Again, the maintenance of the viability of the student's laptop is your responsibility, not mine. I will notify you of any deadlines or attendance ahead of time in class and or Blackboard server. Students will not behave in a disruptive manner, calling other people's names, sending emails, causing problems. That won't be accepted. I will fairly evaluate every student individually, and all grading will take place in Blackboard. I will work with any student through the disabilities office. If you do have a learning disability, please get in touch with the disabilities office to provide, and that way we can have a working, accessible classroom. We have a disabilities office here on campus. They will come up with a game plan for your learning disability. They will forward off paperwork, or through you have you send me paperwork. We can do it on the QT. It doesn't have to be. It will not be public if you don't want it to be public. If you want it to be public, that's your business. It's your business, right? You do it what you want to do. But get that paperwork to me, and I'll sign off on it, and we'll get you working. All right. All participants will maintain a professional, respectful environment. We cannot accept bigotry. We cannot accept discrimination, violence, or intimidation of any type. Okay. So we're gonna have an equal mix of lecture and simulated exercises. Okay. Which will include projects. So we're going to have practices and projects. Practices are labs. They're going to be very step-by-step doing things. Projects are going to be kind of goal-oriented. Here's the goal. Get it done, right? Using your previous knowledge. Maybe I'll give you a hint here, a hint there. Check this website out. Check that out on how to do this. Here's a quick little video on how to do this. But for the most part, you're going to have to figure it out. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of roadblocks. You got to crawl over them. But that struggle, that work is how you actually learn. Okay, so that's why we have projects. All right, so formats. All documents need to be formatted as a PDF. So if you do need to hand in any documentation, it's got to be a PDF. Write, justify the first 3 lines, middle initial, or first name, middle initial, last name up top, followed by the class, and then what you're actually handing in, project or practice. And your practices are all going to be submitted as tests. So again, all documents need to be formatted as a PDF. I've repeated it twice. People will still miss out on that if I need it. All right, which I will for the projects. Evaluation. All right. So again, we talked about that. Knowledge is going to be 34% of your grade. It's all the exams averaged together. Application is going to be by the projects. It's 33% of your grade. That's going to be the projects all averaged together. And practice will be evaluated by average together your assessments and then compare it to your knowledge score. The higher those two will then be added to the average of your practices, and then divided by 2 to find their average. Here's the course subject. It's very loose. It's by the week. I will have more specifics sent out, pestering you via Blackboard announcements of what we're working on now and what online lectures are just being released now. All right. By the way, if we do look at the lessons, you'll notice the lesson 1's already there, precursory, which will be going over Friday. We're going to go a quick 101 on a 101 of security issues. That's how we're going to start off week 1. As you can see, introductions and precursors, and then that's our goal this week. Next week, we're going to do lesson 1, topic 1. All right. I also have some important days. Last day for students to make changes to their schedule without financial penalties. That'll be Monday. So I have those important messages, including the midterm due dates, what's due. All right. Again, here's my contact information, and then here's my schedule as promised. I believe this video is getting a little up there in time. I just want to make sure I didn't forget anything. Lessons are located here. This will go up to 4 lessons. As you click on it, you'll get topics inside of it. Exams, there'll be 3 exams listed down here. The exams will be comprised of questions from assessments, and including all the not all the some definitions, I think randomly selected. I'm trying to remember exactly the format what I did. But a lot of definitions, we'll put it that way. A lot of those are questions from assessments, things you did in assessments. Then there's going to be critical thinking questions, which are primarily going to highlight important concepts, going back to those concepts. Let's go to topic 2. So concepts we have here, like how does a firewall work, right off the bat. How does a firewall work? I should change the format of that. So that is going to be a concept. So that's fair game for asking you a critical thinking question. It's handing you a diagram and saying, if this has a security rating here and a security rating here, will this workstation be able to ping that workstation without any further configuration? Something along those lines. Now, in the exams, I'll tell you in the study guide to know how firewalls work, right? I'm going to give you a heads up, but you're going to have to study up, okay? There you go. Those are exams. Again, and of course, you're going to do those on your own time, just like everything else. And then the projects, project 1 will be something along the designing a secure network. 2 will be doing a vulnerability scan, and 3 will be doing forensics on a compromised machine. So there's our 3 projects. They will be listed under here as well as I deploy them through the semester. All right, I think that's everything. I can't think of anything else I wanted to say. If you have further questions, feel free to email me at jjalbs@stick.edu, which is located right here. All right, I'll see you and I'll talk to you throughout the semester. Bye. I'm going to right-click this and hit finish recording.